Episode 326, New Alliance. Now, as the people didn't know who Alex Ambrose was, nor were they aware of their old master's death, Celeste decided that it would be a good idea and opportunity to bring all the gangs in the Appalachian region together and make an official announcement. Her words shocked everyone. They didn't understand how Georgina could have passed on her role as their master to some strange man. Although the disciples were shocked, they didn't dare object. The other gang members whispered to each other about the news, wondering what it meant for the Moon Palace. "Come look, this is the Master's ring handed over by Georgina herself." In a low voice to Alex, Celeste said, "Mr. Alex, please show your ring to the sisters." Alex slowly raised his left hand, the Master's ring on his finger. The emerald green light shimmered under the night sky. "It's really the boss's ring," whispered a gang member in disbelief. "All hail the new lord!" screamed all the gang members in unison. "Come see the master," said Celeste in excitement. When the disciples of the Moon Palace saw the ring, they all agreed that this godlike man must be their new master. For a moment, more than 700 female disciples of the Moon Palace kneeled on the ground to pay respect to Alex. "Welcome," they all greeted him. Alex had never had so many people kneel before him. "All of you get up," he quickly said. "Our master commands you all to get up." Celeste echoed Alex's message, but the disciples were too shocked to listen and remained on the ground. "What about our former master?" one of them suddenly asked. Georgina had been deeply loved by her disciples. They hadn't seen her for months, and they were worried. Although thinking about the deaths of Georgina and Zora made Alex sad, he knew he needed to inform the disciples of the Moon Palace of their master's fate. Georgina was in D.C., fighting against someone close to her that she used to train with. "She and Zora are both dead," Alex answered. The news hit the crowd like a bolt of lightning. The disciples of the Moon Palace were stunned. A cry broke out. Each of the disciples paused and recalled fond memories of their old master and her time with them. After a few moments, Celeste broke the silence. "Sisters, the old master has passed away, but she has found a better master for us. Under the leadership of our new master, we will restore the Moon Palace to its former state of happiness and prosperity. Now, our master has something to announce," Celeste finished, directing all the disciples to focus on Alex. The crowd listened quietly as Alex consoled them over their master's death and reassured them of his dedication to his new position, just as he had with the four maidens when he had first met them. In no time, it was clear that almost all the party was convinced of Alex being suitable for the role. Even if a small number were doubtful, they felt it was the best to trust their new leader and his vision. As a result, no one spoke against him, and he continued. "From now on," he said, his voice booming, "all of you present shall be considered allies of the Moon Palace. If any gang dares to spread evil in our country, the Moon Palace shall unite with you to defeat them. Yes, there may be times when you shall be called to stand with us, but the palace will not ask too much from you. If any gangs attack you, the Moon Palace will not sit idly by and will hand you support." No one could refuse such an offer. To have an ally like the Moon Palace and the promise of a fighter as great and powerful as Alex would be an enormous help if any other gangs were to cause trouble in the future. Seeing that everyone was satisfied, Alex concluded, "Let's form an alliance here today. We shall call it the Appalachian Alliance." Several gang leaders cried out. "Yes, I agree," cried a gang leader. "I agree with Mr. Alex," cried another. Then all the people cheered. "Long live the Alliance! The Appalachian Alliance will be an unstoppable force." "Don't kneel on the ground anymore," Alex said to the gang members who were still on the ground. "Now, everyone is a member of the Alliance. We need to treat the wounds of all the injured, whether they are from the Moon Palace or one of our new allies." When Alex said this, all the people of the other gangs slowly rose, still stunned. They couldn't believe Alex was so ready to help them after they attacked the palace. "Celeste, let all the people here go inside the Moon Palace. It's too cold out here," Alex ordered. "Yes, my lord." Celeste ordered the disciples to open Moon Palace and let all the people inside. Callisto and the others were also helped, guiding people into the warmth of the palace. "Debbie!" At that moment, Alex remembered that Debbie was still hidden under the tree and ran to the hillside to find her. Debbie was still in a coma, her whole body shaking slightly. Alex picked her up and carried her on his back into the palace. He immediately found an empty room and placed her on the bed. Although Debbie was asleep, Alex could see a miserable expression on her face. She was frowning tightly, and her face was pale again. Even inside the warm room, Debbie still shivered. "Alex, I feel terrible. I feel terrible," she mumbled, dizzy. Just at that moment, Celeste walked into the room, quickly noting Debbie's condition. "The orchid, Mr. Alex. She will need that special orchid. I will send all my disciples to find one in the Appalachian Mountains." She turned quickly and walked out of the ward. Soon, her announcement could be heard throughout the palace. "I'm sorry to disrupt the festivities, but at present, the Master's lady's life is in danger. In the mountains grows a special orchid. We need to find one from the 1,000-year-old strain in order to save her life. All uninjured disciples must immediately go up the mountain. Find as many orchids as you can and bring them back to the palace immediately." Alex sat on the bed and held Debbie in his arms. "Debbie, everything will be okay," he kept murmuring. "They will all go find the orchid in the Appalachian Mountains. You'll be better soon." Alex felt helpless as he stared at her. Only the orchid from the mountains can save Debbie now, Alex thought. 1 hour slowly ticked by. Then 2 hours passed. Dawn was beginning to break when finally someone returned. Before, there would hardly have been anyone willing to go into the mountain to find the orchid, neither disciples of the Moon Palace nor the other gangs. Once they heard Celeste's announcement, though, more than 1,000 uninjured disciples had gone out to find the orchid in the Appalachian Mountains, just for Alex. But although all had picked orchids, they struggled to find one that could save Debbie. Either orchid was either too small or too young. None had found the special ancient strain of orchids that would save Debbie. Finally, the leader of the Grizzlies came in. He had a huge orchid in his hand. It was as big as a softball. "It's really a 1,000-year-old orchid," Celeste exclaimed, looking at the flower in awe and wonder. "Bring it," Alex ordered excitedly. He laid Debbie back on the bed and quickly grabbed the orchid. "Celeste, how can we use this orchid?" he asked. "Let me take it, my lord. The orchid must be boiled in a pot of porridge. Then Miss Debbie can eat it." Celeste said that was what Georgina did when she ate the orchid to cure herself. "Please do it. Boil the flour in the porridge and serve it to Debbie," cried Alex impatiently. "If she eats too much of the orchid, Miss Debbie will not be able to hold it down. Only a little bit can be used," Celeste stated. "The effect of the flour is strong. If you give Miss Debbie too much, she will die." She gave Alex a nod and left the room to prepare porridge. About an hour later, she returned with a tray that had 2 bowls of porridge on it. "My lord, here are 2 bowls of the orchid porridge. You and Miss Debbie shall have 1 bowl each." Alex took up a bowl and helped Debbie sit upright in the bed. He carefully fed her the porridge, spoonful by spoonful. After eating, her eyebrows raised, as if she was surprised. He watched, worried, his heart beating erratically. But when he saw her once pale face become ruddy, regaining a healthy color, he breathed a sigh of relief, and his heart settled down to a stable pace. Her eyelids fluttered, until, finally, she slowly opened her eyes.